I'm Trent Albers, and this is Explore Papillion. Today, we're going to get an inside look at the Sautter Farmhouse and the Portal Schoolhouse, two historical centerpieces here in downtown Papillion. The Sautter Farmhouse and Portal School are located next to Sump Memorial Library in downtown Papillion. The 1860s Sautter Farmhouse was originally located north of Centennial Road and was moved and preserved by the Papillion Area Historical Society in 1979. The one-room Portal School was built in 1890 and originally located south of Giles between 114th and 120th Street. The school was in operation until 1993, and in 1995 the Historical Society purchased and moved it to its current location next to the Sautter House. I'm here with Debbie Allard, and we're standing in front of the Sautter House. Debbie is a board member for the Papillion Area Historical Society, former president of the Historical Society, and Debbie's going to give us a tour of the Sautter House.
Come in. Welcome.
This house was built
circa 1860s.
Circa 1860s. Okay.
Johann and his wife Anna, who came from Württemberg, Germany, settled in Papillion. They purchased the farm from Samuel Cafferty. So the little house was part of that farm. I believe it was maybe 120 acres. It was just north of Centennial Road, what is now Centennial Road. And the farm grew, and their family grew as they lived on the farm. Over time, I believe it was in the about 1890s, that Johann and Anna built a larger home just south of where this little house was located, and then moved their family into that. And I should back up, because when they first moved here, they had two sons, John and Henry. And then their family had grown. So in the 1890s, when they built the larger home, they moved their family into that larger home. And eventually, their son John, and his wife Mary, had been farming in the Springfield area. And they moved back to be on the family farm here in Papillion. So they lived in the smaller house then. But it's designed to look like it might have earlier in the time, not way back in the 1860s. But here we're in the dining room and into the kitchen.
I gotta watch my head around here.
Right, yes.
Not built
the doorways are not
6 foot.
The Sauters were a small family too, in stature, smaller in height too.
I'm sure the phone gets a lot of conversation when you've got kids coming through for Pioneer Days.
Yes, wow, what is that compared to their cell phones that they have?
Yeah, exactly.
This is an example of an ice box and Mr. Sautter actually put a hole in the floor and had a drain there, so that was a kind of innovation probably before his time, so that they had a hose so the water could just drain out. And this would have been the parents' room. And then as we come into the parlor, this is always a special room that we explain to, well, all the visitors, but children especially, that the children probably didn't come into the parlor unless it was a special occasion, if they had special guests or a family event that they were celebrating. But they didn't come in here and play just to be in the parlor. And these are very steep and very narrow stairs. A couple pieces that actually did come from the Sautter family include the brass bed and then this little bookcase or shelf over here. However, it wouldn't have been painted this pink. And of course, the chamber pots, you would have seen a chamber pot in pretty much every bedroom.
Makes sense.
And the wash basins. This is actually a pretty fancy one, but they would have had to heat their water on this kitchen stove. And of course, mom or dad would have helped them get it upstairs, depending upon the age of the children. So this is the boys' room, and the Sauters did have a hired hand at one time, so he would have slept in this room also. Again, things representative of what they might have had. And this is what we call the museum room. There's a variety of things. This would have attached to a horse or maybe an oxen to help plow, or a mule, and kind of our washing station where there's a laundry stove where, of course, it wouldn't have been up here, but could heat the water and then do the laundry, washboards.
So as we're walking over to the Portal Schoolhouse, there's an outhouse between the Portal Schoolhouse and the Sautter Farmhouse. Tell me what you know about the outhouse.
It originally sat along the Rock Island Railroad line in Ridgefield,
in
Nebraska.
Ridgefield, yep.
And then
authentic historic outhouse. There's not a lot of
Right.
Historical sites that can say that they have an outhouse like that.
And it's very unique because one side is for men and one side is for women.
So we're in the historic Portal Schoolhouse. Tell me about the Portal Schoolhouse.
This is the 1890 Portal one-room school. It originally sat south of Giles Road, approximately between 114th to 120th.
Okay.
There were issues with flooding in that area, so over time this building was moved to higher ground. And there was a town of Portal, a small town, and because of flooding, the town of Portal just was no longer. People moved from the town because of flooding, and a lot came to Papillion, but there were farm families still left that still attended this school.
Okay.
So that's why eventually it was moved to higher ground. And it was a one-room school till 1993.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And at that time, it was just too costly to keep it open and not as many students. So it merged with District 27. And then in 1995, people who were part of the Historical Society at that time really wanted to save this building. So made the efforts to get it purchased. And again, they paid just $1, but had to have a hole dug and a foundation built, and then had it moved to this location.
So during pioneer days, the students actually get sort of a authentic experience of what it was like to be in the Portal Schoolhouse many years ago.
Yes, when the school was saved, the members at that time their goal was to have a field trip for the fourth grade students. And that's something that was achieved in 2001, and it was a community effort between the Papillion community, between the Historical Society, and then the Papillion La Vista School District.
Okay.
And then it's funded by the Papillion La Vista School Foundation. So the fourth grade students from that district come each year. We also have St. Columbkill coming, and we've had Springfield and Westmont. They'll be returning next year.
Oh, very cool.
Well.
So if you're not a fourth grader, how do you get to tour these two buildings? Because you do offer tours through the Historical Society, correct?
Right. There's a number on our webpage and
Okay.
other places out there in the technology world. And actually, you call any Historical Society member and just say we're interested in a tour.
Okay.
And then we arrange for people. So we can have just a small group or a larger group tour, but we do that.
Okay.
Anytime we're called, we try to arrange a tour for that particular group of people.
I don't think video always does it justice, so you definitely got to check out these buildings for yourself, get a taste of Papillion's history. So thanks a lot, Debbie. Thanks for
Thank you.
taking time to give us a tour today.
You're very welcome.